Hello, everyone. Welcome to today's midweek update. I'm Mike. I help busy people trade stocks because when you take a look at the market and you take a look at, I don't know, chart like this one here, you see a lot of noise. And one of the things that can honestly freak a lot of people out, especially when you are taking a look at a chart that looks like this, is that you see a lot of stuff going on. And when you see that at any given point of the day, you might get freaked out. Hell, why not? I did well when I was first starting out. I did for probably the first 10, probably even more than that, probably more like 11, 12 years. Well, when I was first starting to really understand the market. If you're looking at too much all the same time, that's when you're going to get twisted and fearful and too excited when things are going your way, too down when things aren't going your way, and you are liable to make irrational, poor decisions. If that's you, go ahead, type into the chat. Let me know if you struggle with taking a look at the market and trying to figure out, well, which way is it going? Or knowing when to sell, right? If you struggle with when to sell, let me know if that's you. There's no shame in that. For me, again, that's been it was a major struggle. It's one of the reasons why in the inside the Trading Mind Wheel book that's sitting right behind me, one of the things that I focused on was coming up with multiple ways to sell and multiple ways to sell that are easy to follow, right? Just like how, well, when you would go to a movie and well, what do they do when you walk into the theater, right? When they're playing the previews and they just before the movie comes on, they say, "Oh, well, here are all the exits," right? And they point that out so that way you know what to do in case if you need to leave. So we need to have multiple ways to exit the theater, right? Because it's not just the way that you came in. There's an exit over here, an exit over there, the one right behind you. So that's what we could do for our trades. So let's take a look at what the market's doing. Let's take a look at how we might want to consider exiting some trades, and let's hop on into things. So we'll start off with the major indexes here. And I'll leave everything annotated on the screen just for a second because, well, when you're looking at this and you might be confused, right? There's a lot of stuff that's going on the screen. If you're into trading, right? And of course you're into trading. Why would you tune into a show like this? How would you even find me if you're not somebody that is really into trading and learning all this stuff, right? So your charts probably look kind of similar to this, right? Well, where maybe you don't have six different tickers on your screen all at once, but you probably have a few moving averages. You probably have price and volume, maybe even have some annotations. Do you guys have that? If you do, type into the chat, let me know. What I like to do is click this button right over here. This one that says hide all drawings. So I'll start off by doing that. And I'll often have that turned off on the stocks that I'm in too. And part of the reason why is because it helps to calm my mind. Because if I instantly see where price is, how it's behaving right now, where it is in relation to where I'm at, even if I don't have my P&L on the screen, my mind starts to calculate like, like I was up this much, now I'm down this much, and what did I just give up? How much more might I give up if momentum shifts against me? Do those kind of thoughts run through your mind? Go ahead, let me know, because I want to see if I'm alone in thinking that way, right? Because those thoughts, believe it or not, those kind of thoughts still happen. trading for 25 years. I've written 3 books, and yeah, those kind of thoughts still enter my mind. So what do we do, right? One of the things that we need to do is be the gatekeepers of our minds. We'll talk about that in a little bit. Gatekeepers of our minds. I'm writing a little note down to myself to be the gatekeepers of our minds. All right. So let's talk a little bit about what we have going on over here. We have the major indexes, right? So we have the major indexes. We have the S&P 500, the NASDAQ, the Russell 2000, the New York Stock Exchange, Dow, and we have the IBD 50 over here. What do you notice about these? Go ahead, type into the chat. Let me know what you notice about these. I'll tell you what I notice about these. One of the things that I notice about these charts right here are that they're all moving from the left side to the right side, and they're all moving from the lower left to the upper right, generally speaking. What does that tell you? They're all in uptrends. So, hey, let me ask you this. What happens when you're in an uptrend? You move up, right? What will you go up in a straight line, or will stocks and indexes pull back from time to time? You know the answer. They're going to pull back from time to time. So if we're in the market, we need to be prepared for those pullbacks. And if we're trading growth stocks, and that's what I like to trade, and you guys are here and listening, so I assume that that's at least part of what you're interested in. If you're trading growth stocks, the growth stocks are going to pull back harder, faster, and the flip side is that they also move up first, and they also move up faster. So we're going to get a little bit of that, whoa, it's up here, uh-oh, it just pulled back very sharply. So we need to be mentally prepared for that. We need to know how to respond to those kinds of things. Now, I'll show you a few of the trades that I'm in right now. And you know what? Perfect one right here, Duolingo. So Duolingo, why is it perfect one to discuss? It's perfect to discuss because there's all these drawings all over it. I still have this danger signals indicator up on here. And so just looking at all that kind of freaks me out a little bit. Does it freak you out a little bit? So here's how to start to calm your mind and filter out some of the noise. You click that hide all button, right? And let's get rid of the danger signals, because do we need this at every point in time during the day? If you're trading like me, the answer is no, right? The only time that I need to even look at the danger signals is towards the end of the day, when I'm looking to make a decision of, am I going to continue holding this or not? Of course, there's a few different ways that I'll decide that, but one of the ways that I decide whether or not I'm going to manually sell all or a portion of the stock at the end of the day is by the number of danger signals. So if I just have that indicator, right, and I'll put it back up here. If I just have this sitting on my chart all day long, it's going to freak me out. And why is it going to freak me out? Well, at one point of the day today, Duolingo was at the bottom of its trading range. That looked pretty gnarly. At one point, it probably had more than 3 danger signals active. So if I'm sitting here looking at that and I'm like, uh-oh, there's 6 danger signals. What do my rules say? My rules say sell. I'm going to be in a panic mode. What do I do? Whereas if I had all the annotations off and I had that danger signals indicator off for now until it's time for me to take action, I'm able to look at the chart and be a lot more objective. I don't see precisely where I get in, what my planned scale outs are, how close this is to a stop loss level. I just see the price action. I see a handful of moving averages, and I'm able to see, oh, you know what? Yeah, this thing is still in a steady uptrend. Yeah, it looks like it's consolidating a little bit right now. It's nothing wrong with it. And say, all right, on to the next one. Right, let's see, the Palantir. Well, this one looked gnarly a few moments ago. Let's see how many danger signals there are right now. Well, there's 4 right now. I'll tell you what, earlier this morning before we started this live stream, I think that there were about 8 danger signals that were flashing. If I had that thing on and I'm looking at this, and let's just say, I have a few different screens. And let's just say that the charts are on one side and I'm over here, I'm doing something else, right? Do you guys do this where you have your charts open and you're doing something else, but you still want to keep an eye on the market? Do you guys do that? Let me know. Type into the chat if that's you, or is that just me? Well, if I've got all this stuff open and I'm constantly trying to see, well, what are my stocks doing? What are my stocks doing? Should I be selling? And I'm looking at this and it's starting to flash all these signals, then that's something that's going to grab my attention, distract me, and put me into a state of panic. So I turn this off. And now all of a sudden, I'm able to be a little bit more objective. I don't see that, oh, I entered down here and then I added over here and then I started to scale out some and then I scaled out some more over here. And there's all these danger signals, 8 danger signals. And again, at one point, Palantir was down here. It looked like it was going to test the 21 EMA. Am I going to continue losing money, right? Because yesterday I was up here. At one point I was down 4.5%. Is it going to tag me my stop loss at about 9.5% away? And if I start to have those kinds of thoughts, then guess what? I'm going to mismanage this trade. I'm going to be distracted from whatever else I was supposed to be working on. And that it's not good. It's not good. So this is why, this is really why I started this whole channel and why I started this Mara Wealth business, right? Because you guys are busy. And I know what it's like to be busy. I was trading on the side for 15 years. Right before I finally decided to leave the day job behind and start to trade on my own, where I had finally had enough success, enough capital saved to be able to do that, to be able to go and start a business. And now I've been doing this for what, about 6, coming on 7 years. Pretty soon, time really flies, doesn't it? But you understand, right? Doing trading and being distracted by charts that look like this while you're still trying to do other things, that's where it makes it very difficult for you to get any kind of traction in your trading. It makes it very difficult to stick to rules, stick to plans. It makes it very difficult to focus on the things that you're supposed to be focused on, right? And you know what you're supposed to be focused on during your day. Well, whether it's your work, your family, well, the person sitting right in front of you, right? Well, the work that you have, whatever it is. If you're constantly distracted, it's good for none of that, and it's not going to help you make more money in trading. So the first bit of advice would be to turn off the indicators, right? So danger signals go away until they're needed. They're not needed right now. The annotations could go away. They're not needed right now. And if I want to glance at the charts, I could glance at the charts, but I'm not going to be as distracted. throughout the day. And if I am going to glance at the charts, I need to have some sort of a reason why. Because if I am glancing at the charts in the middle of the day, then well, what is it? It's almost not like a form of entertainment. Am I here to be entertained or am I here to make money? I don't know about you, but I want to be making money with trading, right? Like that, this isn't a hobby. So if we want to make money trading, then well, we need to operate in ways where we'll be able to do that better. Keeping all the annotations off until they're needed, that's one way to help clear your mind. Keeping the special indicators off until they're needed is another way to help keep the mind clear. Another thing too, and I've spoken about this a whole bunch of times, you probably could know what I'm about to say. The trading business plan. Yes, you do need that. But a trading business plan is even that is not going to work for you if you're constantly looking at charts that have all this stuff all over it all the time. Even if all this stuff is a part of your plan, it's not going to work for you because it's almost like having the whole plan laid out and you're trying to do every single part of it all at the same time. That's not how it works, right? It's figuring out, well, what do I need to do when? Coming back to this, the market's in an uptrend. The market's in an uptrend. Leading stocks are behaving well, right? Palantir, one of the leaders of the market, between, let's see, from August to now, it's up 100%, right? Well, we should expect that it will pull back at some point. We should expect that, yeah, you know what? It'll test the 21-day exponential moving average. For me, that's that purple line over there. Rather than being freaked out, maybe, just maybe, it might be a buying opportunity. Or at the very least, maybe it's a time to hold. How do I know which is which? That's where your plan comes into play. And there's some very, I have people reach out to me all the time. And some of the things that people tell me are that based on their system, this is a buy. Based on this system, this is a sell. You might want to look out for this. You might want to look out for that. All extremely well intentioned. And God bless you for being well intentioned. Well, we need more well intentioned people in the world. What, unfortunately, what doesn't work is when well intentioned and you have your plan, and then what the well-intentioned person is telling you doesn't fit into your plan, and then you shift, right? You have this style shift. So, for example, let's say that you're looking at this stuff and you're like, Mike, I don't use moving averages, or I don't use the moving averages that you use. And to me, right there, this is a sell. And here's why. Well, great. That's what you should be doing. That's what you should be following through on. If somebody else comes along and says, well, the Bollinger Bands tell me that I should be doing this, right? The Bollinger Band is another technical indicator that moves well with the price action. Anyhow, they look at something different. They tell you what you should be doing based off of their system. If you go and follow with that, that's another thing that could add more noise, right? We're all busy people, right? This is to help busy people trade stocks. The way that a busy person is going to be able to succeed is going to be to filter out the noise. It doesn't mean that what your neighbor's telling you isn't good. Maybe it is good, but it's not good if we need to lose focus, if we end up losing clarity, we need clarity, we need focus. The way that you're going to be able to do those things is, yes, have a business plan where you're outlining, here's what I'm going to do, here's why I'm going to do what I'm going to do. And oh, yeah, by the way, I've tested this and it leads to X result. That's what you need. What you also need is a process that tells you, oh, you know what? I don't need to have all this stuff on my chart all the time. I only need to look at this sort of stuff. For me, I'm looking at this stuff at about 3 p.m. Eastern. Sometimes if I need to be out of the house early, like yesterday, sometimes I'll take a look at this in the early afternoon, right? Like maybe say 1 p.m. But aside from that, my charts look more like this throughout the day, or they look like this. Yeah, I keep it closed because there's nothing for me to do. Let's go through some questions. What questions do you guys have? See a lot of comments. Yeah, Bruce always has his charts up. Caleb says that though I don't have the signals flashing, I do go alerts when things hit specific prices that I said earlier. Many alerts are old. Yeah, the alerts need to be cleared. The alerts need to be cleared unless if you plan on using them, then it's then they've got to be cleared. I have a whole bunch of alerts, right? And the reason why I have all these alerts, and I could actually remove that one. That one triggered yesterday. That was for this trade here, SFM. So one of the things that I like to do is I will set alerts when my stop losses hit, and also alerts when my scale outs are hit. And these alerts, they go into our private Discord for our members, and they get alerted in real time if I'm entering position, if I'm scaling out of the position, if I'm being stopped out of a position. And so yesterday, we took a 25% scale out in SFM. SFM is up, let's see, well, how much is it up? It's up about 12%, a little over 12% from when we bought it back here on September 16th. Oh, exactly a month ago. So when those alerts go off, and I have all these different alerts over here, for all the different actions that I'm going to take, that needs to be actively cleared out. And if I just leave old alerts there, right? So let's say trade falls apart, I never take it, and then all of a sudden there's alerts going off. Now I'm distracted. Now I'm being brought back to a chart that I don't need to be brought back to. And whatever we're focused on during the day, right? That like, so you're working full time, you're focused on your business, your job, whatever it is. Now you're distracted by some random alert that needs to be cleared out. We need to clear out all the stuff. It's almost like a spring cleaning kind of thing, right? The more clutter, the more things that we could get rid of, the easier it's going to be. Let's see. Well, what other comments do we have? Caleb says, I have alerts for stop loss scale outs. I also have them for buy points of stocks that I am looking at, but some of them never hit and don't necessarily delete them. Yeah, get rid of them. Get rid of them. That's a simple thing to do to help have a little bit more clarity. If something is super old, then get rid of it. So that way, there's no chance of it being distracting to you. And you could also go and see, well, what alerts do I have open? Right now, I've got the most amount of stocks that I've had on in a very long time. And even if we do flip through some of these, right? Here's another one, APP. You know, I've got to say it. Are you guys down with APP? I'm sorry. Anyway, at one point today, just a little bit ago, this trade will pop up in a 30-minute chart. You can see it a little bit clearer. Look at that bar, right? We'll zoom in on it. Look at this bar right here. That was pretty ugly. And that was the first 30 minutes of trading. So if it's the first 30 minutes of trading and you pop this open and you're staring at it and price is selling off and it's selling off on heavy volume, what are you going to think? What are you likely to feel? In hindsight, of course, it's easy to say, "Oh yeah, well that's should have bought right there." Right? Well, look at how price is rallying. But what are you likely to really think? Caleb, you don't get man, I thought we were almost the same age. I guess not. So back in the day, there was this song, this band, rap group OPP, and they'd say, "You down with OPP? Yeah, you know me." So that's why I see APP. Yeah, you know me. Anyway, sorry. you know, sometimes these things don't always hit. It's just like trades. Sometimes you have trades and they hit right away. Sometimes you put on trades and they stop you out. Well, I guess that was a joke that stopped me out. Anyway, so so yeah. Anyhow, case in point, here's APP sold off at the open, down 3.5%, and rallying right back. And yeah, some people won't look at the charts for the first 30 minutes. Some people won't place trades for the first 30 minutes. All those things, that the thing that they all have in common is adding clarity, adding focus, trying to figure out when, where, how to look at the market. Because if we're just, again, eyeballs glued at the charts all day long, no good. No good. Right? Anytime I've done that, I've ended up losing money. Right? And even when I've made money, I've ended up losing money by having my eyeballs glued to the screen. And you know how? You know how even when I make money, I lose money by having my eyeballs glued to the screen? The way that I would lose money, even when I make money, is because I would make some, I'd get rewarded, and then I'd keep doing it, and I keep doing it, and I keep doing it, and then I'd look at my account and say, "Where'd all my money go?" Right? So we need to do the things that help us to consistently make money in the market. We don't have all day to look at this stuff. Keep the charts clean, have rules for how and when you're going to sell, and then that's it. That's it. It does take quite a bit of conviction in order to be able to do any of this stuff well. That's why I wrote the books that I wrote. That's why I wrote the Trading Mind Wheel. It's right there behind my head. I should have a copy sitting on my desk so that way I could hold it up, but I'm a bad marketer. But hopefully you could see it right over there. The Trading Mind Wheel teaches you the skills that you need. For a long time, I didn't know all the skills that you needed in order to trade successfully, in order to trade successfully part-time, right? Because if we're busy and we're trying to do all this stuff, it's very tempting to be like, oh, well, I'm just going to sign up for a service and I'm going to watch a couple of YouTube videos and I'll be good to go. Well, there's a lot more to it than that. There's all the mindset stuff. And that's your basic philosophy of how you think about trades, about how you think about money, about how you think about yourself. We've got to get all that stuff sorted out. Otherwise, because if it's not, then we're going to take a look at charts like this and see danger signals, see loads of annotations, see price moving against us, say, uh-oh, I'm losing money, sell, and then you have the market rally right in your face, and you're like, oh, shouting expletives, and then, yeah, that's how you end up getting whipsawed. You don't want to get whipsawed, right? It's also one of the things that where the market could be moving up and you end up losing money. And you end up losing money because of days like this, where if your eyeballs are glued to the screen and you're seeing price come against you, you get freaked out. Uh-oh, I'm going to lose all my gains, make a bad decision, and then need to jump back in. You're far better off having your screens look like this. And if you want to screenshot the Mara logo and just put it there for yourself, go right ahead. But that's what you got to do. What other questions or comments do you guys have? Caleb says, even on huge down days, I am not usually annoyed unless all my stops are getting hit. My hope is that my stops are at proper support. Let's talk about proper support. Let's talk about proper support, because proper support can be in a few different places. Now, most of the time, I'm very good at spotting where is proper support. Every now and then, I still make mistakes. This is a trade where I made a mistake. So Kava, I was in Kava just the other day, and I got whipsawed right out of it. How did I see Kava? I was seeing Kava setting up in a VCP. And at the time, it was this little VCP right there. So what did I do? I had my entry point right here. I had my stop loss right below this low. And it got tagged yesterday by about 20 cents before price reversed, closed on its highs. Now, was the stop loss in the wrong place? Yes, it was. Was it in the wrong place because it generated a loss? No. No, it was not in the wrong place because it generated a loss. It was in the wrong place because it failed to identify the levels of confluence around it. Yes, it was looking at this small shelf right here. Yes, it considered the 10-day exponential moving average. At the time, was also taking a look at some fib levels, was also taking into account, at that point, it was, I believe it was the daily low. What it did not take into account was drawing a line straight across and taking a look to the left of the chart. Now, what is this peak right here? What's that price? That price is $128.18. The low of this day, where I was shaken out, was $128.20. Now, I ask you this: does price have memory? Price does have memory. Price has memory because people have memory. Price came down. People were seeing it approaching prior resistance and bought right at that level. So, was my stop wrong? Yes, it was wrong, not because I got shaken out. It was wrong because it shouldn't have been at 128.40, which was below this low. It should have been at 127.90, which would put it below this. And then if it were tagged, then it's tagged, and that would be it. And that's one of the things that I think is very important to consider in when you're placing your stops. Uh, consider the price action. Consider the price action across time frames. Consider the indicators that you use. For me, I like to use series of moving averages. I'll consider an anchored VWAP, right, as a secondary thing to have around a stop. And I'll also take a look at Fibonacci retracement levels, and that's also like an extra, I don't know, cherry on top. We want to have a few different things that we'll consider, have a few different layers of confluence, but that's it. And once we figure out the things that we're going to look at, let that be the things that you look at consistently. Don't start throwing in something that somebody else happened to mention to you and use it once and then never use it again. Right? Like that. That's where it ends up muddying the waters. That's where it ends up confusing things. So um, hopefully that helps as far as figuring out some of the mindset to place stops. All right. Some other questions from Caleb. I had Kava at the exact same stops as you. I had two others. Oddly, one did not trigger, and I'm still in it for three-quarters of the original trade. Got lucky, I suppose. Yeah. Um, how would you handle that? Treat the trade going forward as your original intention. Yeah. So if I'm still in it at this point, yeah, I would keep my stop where it is at 127.90. In fact, the 127.90 stop just got better, right? So price did the reverse off that level. Now you have the 21 EMA catching up to that level. So you have added support here. And yeah, I would just play this out. And if I get stopped out, then I get stopped out. But right now, I would continue to hold it. We are about 8 minutes over. So, are there any other questions? Any last minute questions, thoughts, comments? Anything that I could do to help you guys? One other thing that I want to let you guys know, if you haven't done so already, make sure that you subscribe to the newsletter. Uh, Go to marrowwealth.com/newsletter. If you guys are watching over on YouTube, I put the link right below the live stream video, so you could just click on that and hop onto the newsletter. Well, we put out free education every single day. Just about every day, I try to get the newsletter out. It's a fresh newsletter every single day that's teaching you something. And it's all geared towards part-timers, busy people. So check that out. And if you're interested in checking out our research program, again, also geared towards busy people, part-timers, a lot of education in there. I'll do a daily market update, put out a video that's maybe about 10 minutes long that summarizes all the positions, trading plans, everything that we're at. If you're interested in that, you could go and check out the research program. Uh, the link is in the description if you're watching over on YouTube. Get a free 2-week trial of that. All right. Anything else? No? Going once, going twice? All righty. I will see you all on Friday for the Traders Mind Chat show where we will be focusing on something mindset related. So look forward to seeing you guys. Until then, take care, much love, and God bless.